Alright guys, working on the Coleman BT200X some more today. I've already spent a few hours on it. I took the back wheel off just to kind of check everything out. It wasn't rolling as good as it should, so I knew potentially I wanted to see how the bearings looked, or if the side covers were still on them, or if it was just, the steel balls were exposed, stuff was getting in. And one on the left side, the far side from us, was horrible. So it was all busted up. The other one inside of, closer to the brake, wasn't too bad. I had pounded them both out of there, got brand new bearings in the back. The front I've already done. I did it like a few months ago. And the front forks. So I've got serviced the front forks. Got it all straight chained and pretty tight. So right now I've got that pretty tight on there. Not a whole lot of spin to it. I don't want that chain popping off. I'll probably loosen it up, or it does typically kind of loosen itself up, and when it heats itself up, so probably leave it about where it's at. So I'd rather be a little tight than too loose. I got some WD-40 in here, just like I had two over there on the old Yamaha, the DT100, my 50-year-old machine over there. It was all gunked up in there and not, as you can hear, snapping back like it should. So carburetor's working really good. I got it tuned as best as possible. It's still not really, this thing's not idling. It wants to be, there needs to be like an idle screw somewhere else. I guess this idle screw is either stripped out, something's wrong with it. It never really worked to begin with. You can twist it in as far as you can, you twist it out as far as you can, as it's running or not as it's running, and it doesn't change the performance of it one single bit. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. So I've got this main switch, your motorcycle, basic motorcycle switch, high beam, low beam, your turn signals, a horn button at the bottom, beep beep. So in the front we've got this LED. Headlight might potentially, I was already starting to, and I repainted because it rusted overnight. Drill through this stem. It is very thick. And then of course I picked the thickest part. It's got like an extra, you can see this stem part of it. It's extra thick right there. So my plan is to have high beam as like both of them on. And I'm not sure which one yet. The one like sitting right in here. I'll have it flipped upside down and hanging there. It looks cool when I have it held up there. So anything's better than those weird old, like this style headlight that it comes with it on. These things suck. So, my buddy Scooter's parts will be in here any day now. So he says he's bringing them over in like 2 or 3 days. So I'll have that up and running. Check out that video when it's released. So if you want to hit your notifications, subscribe if you're not subscribed. I appreciate it. And if you're liking this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And here is our wiring mess we've got going on here. So I'd love to show everyone, like I mentioned in a previous video, I don't want to all of a sudden just, and it's boom, oh, here it's done, guys. Because I've got all kinds of stuff to hook up. So what I want to do is show everyone, but give me some time because I want to make sure it's all laid out properly. And not probably on the bike, I want to maybe just lay it out on the floor, show you. Here is 4 turn signals, LED. I've already got a perfect spot here where the seat is. I'm going to put them in the back right off of the seat post thing or the hole there. So I want to wire all those in properly. Your yellow and green, your turn signal. So the back turn signal hooked up into the switch, and I want to show all that properly. Then I've got just some extra wiring, really, if we need some of these. This is our extra wiring, but everything will be off of a main switch. My problem last time when I ran a motorcycle battery on a mini bike, I think this one, maybe the other one, with this kind of style brake strip light or any kind of brake light, I had it hooked up weird because I have it hooked up to the brake. That's also up here. So this is a brake sensor. So it's inside of the brake. So once you engage, it's going to engage your brake light, go brighter. So I had it just kind of hooked up, kind of rigged up for just to have a headlight and a brake light, but not an active brake. But some kind of an amber light was draining the battery all the time. You could barely see it. It was hardly on. But by the time I went out, it would drain the battery. So this is a nice battery at Walmart. It's got about 130 cold crank amps, $95. So it's not cheap. Small little ATV or motorcycle battery. What I want to do, I'm running a main switch this time. So you'll run positive and negative to the battery, and then everything, to the switch. So I want to make sure everything is shut off. Then I've got a flasher relay that I'll show how to hook up. A horn I'll show how to hook up, 12-volt horn. Then I might potentially do this AC to DC converter that I had on here before. Is slowly, with the flywheel on this, you've got this wire coming off out of the engine that, I'm not going to pull it all out of there. I've still got it on there from the flywheel. It runs your stock headlight. So it's not the brightest thing in the world or putting out that many volts. I can't remember what it even puts out, but I take some of that power coming out, and if you grab it, you'll feel it. It'll slowly trickle charge your battery, since there's like not anything on this like a motorcycle system or something where it's recharging as you're hitting a certain RPM, like 4,000 RPM. It starts charging your battery up or so. I don't know this. That's what I just saw in a video, so I don't know this exactly. But as you're hitting your higher RPMs, they recharge your 12-volt motorcycle battery. Ideally, this would be what I was going for, and I was getting some good results. I'd like to, now that I have a good working multimeter, I want to show those results and show it actually charging. So yeah, we'll get to all of that. I've got to grab a little tiny fuse, probably at least a 20, maybe a 30 amp little fuse. A few other little small things. I'll be back with you, and it's probably gonna be a little dark by then, so I have all the lights on. So we'll see you later on. Peace. All right, little update video from last night. I didn't really work on this too much. I just really looked some things up and made a plan. I want to even maybe write out a wiring diagram. This diagram is pretty helpful, but I wanted to know the power, obviously. So obviously 6 and 6 are connected, high beam and low beam. So that's your power source. So 6 is that blue one. So I need to run power to 6 and either 4 or 5 for the horn, which is green and light green. Just stupid to make them so similar. Make it like purple or yellow. And then 2 for the turn signals. So 2, 6, and possibly 4, maybe 5, are your power. So we've got the gray one, blue one with white, and either light blue or dark, or light green or dark green. The others are going to be your blue one there. We'll start with your white one. Your white one is your low beam. Your blue one is your high beam. Your orange and blue are your turn signals. And then that is your horn. And it's just a matter of matching everything up and wiring it. And what I did here, I'm using a 30 amp 12 volt switch. So on one side is your power input, your red. So on this side of the switch, you're going to hook up a main power and a ground. So I've got power to a switch. And then same thing on the back end here. You're going to run all ground to here, all power to here, to the devices or lights. I've also got this grounded to the bike on the motor. It says to ground it to the chassis. I'm not 100% sure why, or if I should, or if it helps or hurts. I'm looking that up a little bit more. If you know a reason why, feel free to let me know in the comments. I know obviously like your car battery is grounded to the car. So I would imagine same type of deal here. I'd love to know the reason. I guess I could just Google it real quick, but I'm not afraid to ask anything I don't know. And that's why I'm making a video for those that don't know. I don't need those comments of people that know what you're doing. I'm not making this video for you. I've got the brake here with the sensor in it, so it'll be hooked up to the brake light, which is either red or white. I forget which one is brighter. So we're going to hook that up, and then that gets grounded also. And got our horn here. Get that on. And our turn signal relay switch, and I'll show you that also. B's up to the battery, so we're going to go positive to the battery there, and then we're going to go from there, the L, to the load, or I say battery and load is how I explain that. L, load, would go to the lights, so, or it might be lights. That's just the old jack shaft, it's ruined. So turn signals, going to add that extra headlight. Also, AC to DC converter I'd like to do. I had it set up before, so I've got the wire still right there sticking out from the flywheel, so I'd like to hook that up so it's set up and slowly trickle charging the battery somewhat. So I will also show that once it's completed, if it's working properly. So, all right, stay tuned. Brian's checking something out. What you got? Doggy out front or something? Again, back on the Coleman BT200X. Been doing other stuff throughout the day, but so far so good on the wiring. 12 volt brake light strip that you can get for like 12 bucks on Amazon. Little 30 amp 12 volt switch and LED headlight that comes in a pack of 2, also at Walmart. It comes with this wiring harness thing, so they're like set up for fog lights for a vehicle, 12 volt system. So I didn't want to go back to the stock, old weird looking headlight like that that runs off of the flywheel, but again, as I mentioned before, I've still got that wire in mind to get this hooked up. AC DC converter. It does slowly trickle charge the battery once you're running at a decent RPM. I didn't test it with a multimeter last time, but I know for sure I was going a lot longer in between charges on my battery. So I know it was slowly charging it. And again, I'll run through everything once I'm completed. Sounds like I've got a neighbor getting close mowing, so I'll wrap this up here until later. So again, on and off switch, I will show you a rundown of everything. Pretty much you'll have power and ground to this switch from the battery, and then you'll have power and ground to your devices or your lights. And I've also got it grounded. So from the negative, I've got it grounded here to the a ground spot here on the engine. And I will show you the brake light. Still got that to hook up. So this will go power to the battery, and then to the brake light, and then grounded somehow also on its own circuit, I believe is how I'm going to run it, because it has nothing to do with the switch. So, and again, bear with me and I'll show you that a little later on. Got working headlight and tail light. Pretty good start. Check back later. Perfect night out here tonight. Oh, sorry, can't see the stars. Great night for a fire. It's been like in the 60s or so. It's amazing. Alright, I'm going to show you the update here without a lawnmower going and everything from earlier. I put a multimeter on here and we're at 12.03 volts. And when I turned the roll, I was at 12.10 and it slowly went down to 0.04 pretty slowly. Not like when I had two of these LED headlights hooked up to a 12-volt motorcycle battery. I think it was a different one than this one, but still pretty similar size. It just was dropping very quickly. So, all right. So, what I have here is an inline fuse running to the power to the battery, and that's it. It runs to the switch. So on the switch, you'll have 4 total inputs, 2 of them on one side being the positives, the others being the negatives. So you got an input and then output. Pretty simple there. So then I've got a ground, obviously, going there. So you've got your main power and your main ground going here. So then your inputs, I've got ran down here. I've got one going in here to the headlight, positive wise. I've spliced a wire over to the positive side, as well as over here on the positive side, and then the white of the switch goes up to the headlight switch. It doesn't really matter what happens there. That's why I put an on-off switch here. I'm not going to have anything up there. It's just going to be on and off until I hook up. We've still got our brake light. So you got your green as ground, and I believe that's how my kill switch is. So I'm looking it up to be 100% sure before I tell anyone. So you've got a green with a yellow and a black on most of these. Could be different on yours, but just leads to a sensor here in the brake, so that once you engage the brake, it goes out and it knows it's supposed to go on instead of like most buttons where you would push. And again, this might seem very stupid and very simple to some, and this video, again, is not for you. So our main power sources here then are going to be gray, light green, or dark green, I'm not sure yet. And then the white right there. And I'll go over again that diagram more on the one on my phone that I have that shows the power sources, and I'll put that in the link in the description. So this is where we're at right now. It's just a simple on and off. On and off. I put power to these. So again, your red is going to be your brake. If I didn't explain that, tucked away in here was a white. So your white is going to be on this brake light strap, this little LED. Again, like $10 or $12 on Amazon. Your white wire is going to be your running light, realistically. So, and that's barely, you can see the bottom of it. I've got everything taped up. Wow. I did not want to focus on these little tiny wires. You can see the bottom of the yellow. So all I have left is the red, which is the brake light again. And we'll be running one of these two wires to it. Either the black or the green. And so, like I said, that switch just needs to be grounded and then have a power source. And you got your turn signals here, yellow and green as well. And we'll go over all of that. I think these are orange and blue turn signals. So your turn signals 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, 2 and 3. So gray is the power source to the turn signal. So I still need a power. And then blue and yellow. Yeah, so these will be your turn signals. What we got to do is next is hook up relay, all that fun stuff. Got our turn signal lights here, and then horn. I think I'm going to do a horn next, then brake light, and then turn signals last. So stay tuned. Alright, I decided instead to do this correctly, realistically, need somewhat like a voltage regulator, which I think I even have one over here. Yeah, something like a voltage regulator or rectifier. I need to order the right parts to get everything hooked up separately, like a motorcycle or something would be. But for now, I'll show you here. Do have it working. Hopefully you guys can see that. We got a working brake light. And it's just this lever. So again, a little switch inside of there. It's hard to focus. Little switch inside there that activates. So normally, like I was getting to, but rambling on, sorry. I'm thinking about so much stuff and what to cover. Normally, like, you would run it on its own circuit so that if you don't have your headlights on, such as this, you could still have it working. So, like, your brake would still be working, your turn signals would still be working, and hazards still be working type of deal. But I'm not going to wire it up like that because I don't have all that with me right now, or I don't want to run different circuits. I'm just going to run everything together so when the lights are off, yeah, you won't have turn signal, you won't have a brake light. So you'll definitely have to use a lot of the battery because that LED light does drain that pretty quickly. So I hate to have another thing hooked up to this, but yeah, it's looking like I'm probably going to have to put that AC to DC converter on it for sure to make sure it doesn't get too low too quickly. And at least when I'm riding it, it could charge, so I'm not trickle charging it all the time. So, but again, on off switch on, we got headlight, we got our running light, and we have brake light. All a mini bike really needs, but I'm going to go a little overkill, and I'm going to add turn signals. And, oh yeah, I forgot about the horn. So, I'm going to also reground this. It had like a funky end on one of the cables here. I'm going to run a little bit more fuel line so it's not as tight right there and it drops down. Or I actually just might zip tie that in place or something. It needs to be longer right here because once you put that cover back on, it's not enough room. So, all right. Sorry about all the little videos, and I'm going to put them together, but hopefully this is informative. It helps somebody out. Let me know in the comments if you need any help. And I'll do a final video of running through everything once the rest are wired in. And then I'm going to make it real nice and neat in one big harness. And this is all I got left up here. So all I got left is turn signals. And then power, main power switch. Or main power to the switch. For horn, turn signal. And already got the one for lights, which is the white one. Alright, let's finally wrap this up here. So, turn signals are hooked up. Got left and right hooked up here. It'll be your blue goes with the green here. And your blue is right side. Green is right side on the tail light. Yellow is left. And orange is left. So as we turn our switch on, you can see everything hooked up here. We'll go left. And we got left. We'll go right. And we got right. Notice I don't have a blinker set up yet because I don't think I'm going to run one. If you look at these and look how cool these turn signals are that I'm going to put in the back, they've got like a built-in like blinker to them or something going on here. So as soon as you send it power, it goes through its blinker. So I think I'm just going to hook that up so it's going. So you'll have a solid light on. So say that's the left one. I'm just going to have a solid light stay on here with that blinking. And there you go. So it's a built-in little relay or blinker switch. You can go from battery here, so you'll run a positive from B to battery, then you'll go from the L to the load or light, whatever you want to call it, and you could run them to these and have a blinker. But I kind of like that idea. That way it's lit up solid. That way they know you're turning left, obviously. And then that's the blinker part of it, turning left for you. I'm sure, let me know in the comments if you have a preference on that. Like, I'm going to do it this way. First of all, it's the easier way. Something that you guys can do, straight out of the box also. And that's why I made this video, was an easy how-to video. So again, $12 on Amazon for the brake light strip. It's got, like 5 different colors. So you got red and white are your brake light, white being the running light, red, white in there, red being the brake light, which again is hooked up. So if you get yourself a brake lever with switch, again, you'll want to ground it. And then, so we've got our ground, or I'm sorry, you don't ground that. You go power, so you go to the power supply, and then you go to the brake. So red and the green and yellow go together. That green and yellow are coming off the brake light, or brake lever switch again. And the black from it is going to your power source. So yeah, that's the way I'm going to have that set up. If you have any questions, again, please let me know in the comments. And show you guys here real quick. Multimeter. Let's show you. Try to do all this and show you if I can. All right, we are. Oh, of course. Stay. We are at 993. Holding pretty good. Front light on. Pretty bright. Holding pretty good there. So that's not too bad. The other time I had it hooked up with both lights, and it would just, you would see right now 9.80, 9.78, 9.77, 9.75. So it would be dropping steadily. So that's holding pretty good. All right, guys, I think I'm going to end it here. It's been a long video. But again, I just wanted somebody, to have a video out there. Hopefully this is helpful. That actually shows them wiring it, not just kind of, and hey, look what I did. So very simple. You buy yourself a light at Walmart, buy yourself the switch at Walmart, battery at Walmart. You can probably even get a brake light there. They have a marker or a clearance light, like for a trailer, but order a brake light off of Amazon and or anywhere else, and get yourself a mini bike with lights. I can't wait to see these turn signals off the back. As you can see with those built-in flashers. Oh yeah, those were like $12 for the pack of 4 of these. So get yourself some turn signals. I'm going to try to see if I can put them somewhere up front. But yeah, these seat holder things right here, I'm going to go off the sides on here. So I'll have one going off of each side. They look pretty cool. Pretty cool look. So. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're not. I'd really appreciate it. Again, I'm trying to at least get to 500. If not 1,000 would be great. Sometime by the end of summer. And again, I appreciate the support. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. Peace.